fire away when you're ready.
Coleman, I guess just to start, overall thoughts on the drill tonight.
Needed a lot more attitude. I thought South Dakota State, tough team. Did good in tough times. 3 overtime wins, right? But you can't catch yourself in a tough match, right? You got to have attitude, effort to go score a takedown early to separate, right? You know what you're going to get with those guys. So overall, we found some things late, but you don't like to see 3 overtime wins. You'd like to see the wins, but the overtimes, right? You got to do something more early to get your controls. Dustin scored at the end of the third and then in overtime. So in a minute, 2 takedowns. In 6.5 minutes, he hadn't scored nor been on the leg, right? So when it mattered, he got there, right? But that's got to be the whole time.
With Jordan, do you have to just kind of sit over there and say, okay, he is what he is. He's going to get in some situation that are going to make me panic, but then he's going to come out of it.
Yeah, Jordan's always going to let it fly. Yeah. He's going to let it fly. And the more he continues to execute and continues to build on his ride and stay in that box and continue to get to his hard shots, single leg, felt his cradle off his defense, off an action, and putting up a second takedown before that cradle. So really good to see him do that hard ride in the first period to finish out 3-0. It's good to see, so. Yeah, Jordan, he's got some of those intangibles you can't teach, and he's been battling for that spot, and we've been looking for somebody to go out there and keep continuing to win. I think a kid was ranked 18th or something like that, and Jordan, we believe in Jordan, and we believe that he should do that to those guys.
We were talking about it in here. He's the kind of guy that can go in as a higher seeded or lower seeded guy in nationals, and because of his athleticism, pull off something nobody's expecting.
Yeah, and that's from your seeds from your body of work during the year, right? So, but yeah, we know where he's at. It's never for lack of effort or work with Jordan. He works his tail off each and every day. So he continues to grow, continues to do his stuff. He'll be okay at the end of the year if he's the guy.
Coleman, I guess how much of it? You talked about having to do stuff earlier in matches and avoid getting the Sun Victor, but can you talk about your guys going 3-0 in Sun Victory and?
Yeah, when it is time and you step foot on the line in the 8th minute of the match, right? It's time to win, right? And our guys, Teague, Travis didn't really touch a leg, maybe once in the match, and then all of a sudden, end of the third, he's on one, and then in overtime, right? So. Again, looking at that body of work and that effort and that attitude that it's going to take when it's doesn't feel right and these guys are posting me off or they're on my head, the stylistically is different. You've got to punch through that and find it early, right? And it's going to be your footwork, it's going to be your hands, you got to get back to your system, what you want to get to not get in that position. But it is great to see, hey, when it got tough at the end, we found a way to win.
We looked it up. You're 8-2. Your starters or your main lineup is 8-2 in Sudden Victory.
Yeah, and it's it's not for lack of work, and we do some of those situations in the room, and coach is great at the time of making them known what we do in overtime, right? And again, we don't want that many, but if we are there, we are going to have tough opponents at the end of the year. You better find ways to win, And I think at the end of the day, when you can be exhausted, be tired, things not going your way, tagging, getting an escape with 8 seconds left to put himself in overtime, and then going and scoring quick, that says something. So there is a lot there, right? But I wish we weren't at that point.
Coleman, Troy's gotten 5 straight ranked wins. How much of a luxury is it to have an effective opener like that?
You know what you're going to get, right? He's going to have effort. He's going to have energy. He's going to be hitting you in the face. And I thought today he wrestled. One thing I changed is a third period takedown. No, he got a third period takedown. So a second period takedown, right? Kid got out, and really in the second, I would have liked to seen him pick that up. And sometimes he gets in that lull, that match. Always tends to score early, score first. What do we do in that second and third period? Because that's where it's going to matter at the end of the day. And tonight he scored one in the third. I'd like to see one more.
I know Rasmussen came back on him, but to see Connor get a 7-point period, that's
and it's what you want. It's risk, right? And when you take risk, right, and you go up 7-0, with riding time, 8-0, you know, you can take that risk, right? And you know, you gotta be a little smarter when we say risk, right? It's calculated, you know, but he shouldn't be deterred because he can do that more often, right? He is one of the better guys at riding on top and turning, you know, now that you see getting that wrist. And, but if he gets a takedown on about anybody, it's gonna be hard to beat him, right? And he's gonna continue to build that because it wasn't for his effort or a bad shot, you know, it's just knowing some awareness in a scramble. And, you know, big guys aren't there that often. And he hadn't been there that often this year. So we gotta continue to build that and keep building that confidence in his shot because they were really good shots.
Anything else for Coleman?